Vegas casinos are always getting makeovers. Most recently, the Horseshoe and Ellis Island got multimillion-dollar revamps right down to the carpet beneath your feet. And that's because casino carpets, known for their bright colors and distinctive patterns, add so much more to the customer experience than you think. So today on CityCast Las Vegas, we're bringing back a conversation that Sarah Lohman had with carpet designer Terrien Hale and interior designer Alice O'Keefe about the secrets woven into casino carpets. It's Tuesday, March 31st. I'm Sonia Cho Swanson, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about.
Do you have a favorite vintage casino carpet here in Las Vegas?
I do.
Tell me.
I mean, well, obviously in preparation for our talk, Terry and I have been doing buckets of research and also just, from our own knowledge, I really like slots of fun.
Oh my God, I was going to say that too.
Really?
Actually, my dear friend Jen Clevin, who's head of public arts in the city of Las Vegas, says that is also her favorite carpet. It has like cards and chips.
And dice. And it's very iconic Las Vegas, which I appreciate. It's not, I would not say it's high design or anything like that, but it is, you look at it and you think Las Vegas. And I like that about it.
The pattern is really crisp and fun. And we've spoken highly of Slots of Fun on this podcast before. Listeners can go back to our Circus episode. It's also very much, they're presenting it as a retro casino too. So I really love it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, Terry, what about you?
I like the good old horseshoe.
What's the pattern on the horseshoe carpet?
It was roses and horseshoes. I just like that feel because it kind of made you feel like you were at home. And I remember when I first moved to Vegas, I would go down to downtown more often than not. And I ended up at the Horseshoe and I was like, my gosh, this carpet's amazing. And I wasn't even a carpet designer yet. It was like, oh, I like these, like the woven horseshoe detail in there and then the roses. And it just felt vintage and like old school Victorian, but then like in this gambling house. So it just had a really cool feel. So it just made you want to go down there and get a beer and play roulette.
Yeah. And the problem with all of this vintage or older carpet is it's really hard to find images of it unless someone physically took a photo of it. You just remember it, like what Terry's, her recollection of it. I mean, there was a casino carpet at the Paris Hotel, and this was not, well, maybe it is considered vintage now, but it was like 2010 or early 2000s. And it was just little flowers. It was basically just like you were walking on flowers.
Like a Monet. It looked like a Monet.
Like a Monet. Do you know which one I'm talking about, right?
I actually have a sample of that in the garage.
My favorite that still exists is the carpet at the plaza, which looks like 80s. So it's not that old, but knowing what I know now, like it's remarkable it survived. And it's kind of like, who's that designer that did those like really pale ladies with the lips from the 80s?
Nagler?
Yeah,
maybe?
Nagler. It's kind of like those ladies and like a car and a martini. Like it's very casino 80s like in this way.
Art.
I absolutely adore. Yeah. But like 80s version pop art. I really, really love it. So, I love, Terry, how you're talking about like how the horseshoe carpet made you feel and how it inspired you. What part does carpet play in the bigger design and experience of a casino?
Well, it plays a pretty big part, in my opinion, especially the last 20 years. Alice and I have worked for years together on this. And we've seen the evolution from smaller repeats to these large repeats, especially when they do not want to see a repeat and they want stuff outside the box, bright. And I believe some of the reasons that the Wynn did want to go with the brighter colors because of Steve Wynn. He had glaucoma, I believe it was, and he couldn't really see a lot of the colors. So he wanted stuff to be really bright so he could see the color more and see the designs more. But the designs are really predicated on the theme or, the
overall design direction, right?
Yeah, for what they want to present. So, we had the themed hotels in the 90s and everything was more akin to like, more kitschy style. But now things are getting a little more elegant, I think, and a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And it's more of an experience and an artwork when you walk onto the floor instead of just like carpet with a decoration to hide dirt and stuff.
I think a lot of it is just how interior design has changed, if you think about it. Because, I mean, maybe back in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I mean, it was very much like put a really pretty chandelier, some fun carpet or fun, whatever carpet at that point, and, and set the lights that was it, and now it's like the artwork, the ceiling element, the columns, all of those pieces play such a huge part in the overall casino design. The carpet is such a huge part of it. And it's also the easiest to change. I mean, it's still costly, obviously, but I mean, you walk into the casino once new carpet has been laid and everyone's like, something's changed. Like, what's happened, right? And so you get this kind of resurgence in your customer just by changing the carpet, which is why it does tend to get done every 5 to 10 years.
What makes casino carpets unique from, say, like my house or an office carpet?
I would say how it's made. So wool is obviously a really common fiber used in carpet. With casino carpet, it's usually a combination of wool and nylon, which gives it that kind of added durability. Wool's also inherently flame resistant. So when people have their cigarettes and they ash them on the carpet, which unfortunately happens in casinos, that's the best.
This Axminster carpet will last for over 100 years. It is woven like nobody's business. And also, when you think of materials and your mood and how you feel, if you think of nylon as a petroleum product, and to me, it's not as natural and nurturing as wool. And also, wool has a nice like sound effect. It absorbs sound nicely.
Natural, yeah.
And when you walk on it, it just feels luxurious. I feel the difference when I walk into a place and it's nylon, and I'm like, I feel that, and it's not as classy. It's just not. It's just,
you can tell the moment you walk on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you just know.
In a way, I was surprised that it's wool because I'm sure it also has to be expensive. Can you just tell me briefly, like, if a casino wants to change out its carpet, how much is that going to cost them?
Isn't it like $50 a square yard these days?
It can be. It can be anywhere from $34 to $50. Yeah, $50 a square yard.
So $50 a yard would be how much for a whole casino floor?
Definitely like several $100,000. I mean, if you look at like a downtown property or something that is less than like an MGM would be millions because of the square footage.
Hi, CityCast listeners. This is David Plotz. I'm the CEO of CityCast, but I also have another job. I'm one of the hosts of the Political Gabfest, Slate's politics podcast. Every week, I get on mic with my co-hosts Emily Bazelon and John Dickerson, and we talk about politics and a lot more about other things that we care about. The Gabfest has been going for more than 20 years because the three of us love talking to each other, and we have an amazing community of listeners. If you like the open-hearted, curious way CityCast approaches cities, I think you'll like the Political Gabfest too. Stream it on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast.
I have to ask, you're talking about feeling calm as we walk on these carpets, but the long time myth is that the carpets are so patterned so that you just wander around in this disoriented, gambling haze. Is there any truth to that?
Terry, you said, we were talking the other day and she said it perfectly. I've never had a designer or ask me, hey, can you design a carpet that really, confuses people or makes them want to not leave the casino? Like, we would never, ever do that.
No.
But if it ends up happening that people want to stay in a casino because they feel so good, then we've done our job. I get why maybe some casino experts or psychological, because they would maybe, it could go that, but from a design standpoint, we are trying to create something that's fun. I mean, everything is the internet, everyone can see everything all the time. So it's like to wow someone, like, wow, I've never seen anything like that. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, to be fair, there's so many things about casinos are deliberately confusing in their architecture and the way they're laid out. So I get why people start getting paranoid.
We do that.
There's this other myth: people put more oxygen in, and it makes you gamble more or whatever. But like, it's none of it's true.
Yeah. So the no clocks.
A lot of that is also to get rid of the cigarette smoke, though, just the extra oxygen. Like nowadays, sense. Yeah, we're just trying to like clean the air.
Terry, what are some of the more unusual briefs that you've gotten when you're designing a carpet for casinos?
Well, one that I was going to speak about was the Bellagio. They gave me a picture of an ice cream sundae and said, we would like the carpet to look like this. And I said, okay. And it was the largest hand-tufted rug that the manufacturer I work for ever did. It was over $1 million, but it looked like, it was basically, I think it was 24 colors, no repeat. So it was a giant hand-tufted rug.
Area rug, basically.
It was beautiful. And it was basically all the different colors of reds. And then it had some beautiful browns for like the chocolate and some hits of cream for like the whipped cream.
That's so cool.
But it wasn't literal. It was just this beautiful swirling. It was almost like a melting sundae. And then at the end, they said, we wanted to put some gold in there. So we ended up putting in some gold, like a metallic material in there. It was actually really beautiful.
Is it still there?
I don't think it's there because I think somebody bought Bellagio and I think they took it out.
That's a shame.
Terry, when you're designing a new casino carpet pattern, other than the brief you're getting from the clients, what else are you normally keeping in mind?
I'm keeping in mind layering of textures, making it blend. You want things to blend in a very nice, sophisticated way. You want nice shadows and you want to create depth so it looks like just almost three-dimensional. That will help with wear. It makes it look beautiful.
Yeah.
I kind of like to design things that are super sophisticated. Every so often I get somebody that doesn't want sophistication, which is fine too. That's a genre, so it's okay.
What do they want instead? What's the opposite of sophistication?
Garish colors, things that aren't cleaned up, like things that look like clouds and like spray techniques, splattered things, like colors that don't blend nicely. But I think that's because of either the design firm. I don't know. I don't want to blame anyone, but sometimes I get stuff. I'm like, I don't know where you guys are coming from with this, but I'll do it because that's what I get paid for. But mostly the main thing that I focus on is making sure that the design is unique and that it does hide, dirt. That's the main thing. So we don't want to have any open white spots or any cream spots if possible. We always want to layer textures on top, and we have layers like striae. We have what's called a model, which is a 50-50. So that means you have 50% of one color with 50% texture of another color, and they're kind of woven together, and it kind of makes a third color, which is kind of cool.
Terry, do you remember SLS when they opened and the white casino carpet?
Yeah.
When they first opened, I actually at the time I was working on it before it opened, and we walked the property and I was shocked.
I was too.
That they had sections and it was straight up white. And it was a cool idea, but it didn't execute from a durability standpoint because you just can't have white, like Terry's saying, you just can't have white carpet. I mean,
you can, but it's going to look terrible, and it's going to people are going to subconsciously see like stains.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look.
And so when you go into it, like especially if you're in a high-end casino or anywhere, you don't want to see stains on the floor.
I mean, even white flooring. I mean, the Fontainebleau opened and they did white stone at the entrance, and they have someone full time, no matter what time of day, with their little scrubber, like literally scrubbing after people when they walk on it.
I feel like that's part of their vibe, though. They're like, let's get the whitest floor so there's always someone scrubbing it,
right behind you.
Well, Steve Wynn uses white. He uses a lot of white. His firm uses a lot of white. So we use a lot of white.
Yeah. From an operation standpoint, if you have it built in to have staff that is clean. You're going to have X amount more percentage of your PAD or cleaning staff to clean up after your guests, then it makes sense. But a lot of properties don't have that.
Yeah, we make our clients sign an indemnity clause saying they won't hold us liable for stains and stuff like that, because we give them the cleaning protocol, and if they don't follow it, they can come back and go, oh, your carpet doesn't work or whatever, but that's not true. You got to clean it.
What's something that you wish people knew about carpet design for casinos?
It takes hours and hours and days and months to design.
Okay, so Terry and I, we've probably worked on like at least 20 designs together over the years, maybe even more. And they're come and gone, right? Because everything is constantly changing. And Terry and I are friends, so I was over at her house and she was showing me how she was cleaning, what she called cleaning up this design that we were doing for Barry's, the steakhouse at Circa. And I mean, it's like, if you can imagine a carpet,
each pixel,
when you look at it, is literally like a tiny, tiny pixel. And when you look at an overall carpet, you would never maybe perhaps notice that, but it's the detail that Terry puts into it by cleaning up all of those little tiny pixels that makes it look so beautiful.
Thank you. 1 pixel equals 1 tuft of carpet. So that's probably shocking. So every single tuft that you see, I had to hand draw. Everything is hand drawn. So if I have a 24-foot half drop, 24
every
feet
single piece
of pixels, 1 pixel is 1 tuft of carpet.
That is pretty
shocking. It just comes
shocking.
back to this being the forefront of computers, right? Like carpets are built in the same way that we build images in our computer too. Those pixels and pixels just get smaller and smaller and smaller. Why do you think casino carpets are such an iconic part of the Las Vegas experience?
I feel that it is an imprint of history. Like I just was talking earlier about the Horseshoe. I remembered that carpet. So I think it creates history and an experience that you can't get anywhere else.
When you think of a casino, a lot of times you think of the carpet, at least I like we do, remember when they had that crazy brown carpet or that, crazy brown paisley or whatever.
It gives you like an emotional response. You don't even realize it's giving you. You walk in and it's just like the colors, everything triggers a certain mood and a feel. And you take that with you. It's a memory.
You do. I worked in Macau on a project many years ago. And they have the Bellagio, they have the Wynn there. And the MGM had the Bellagio carpet in it. And I just remember being like, that's strange, but they must have had overage or something. And I'm like, something's not right here. I've seen this carpet before, but it was in a different property. And so I think there is like a psychological connection that we make with the property and the carpet. And I think that's on purpose. I think as designers, we want people to remember the carpet.
Alice, Terry, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed this show, and I know you did, go tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. Don't forget you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.
Do you know why they started with an ice cream sundae?
I don't ask. I just like, okay, bring it.